Hello and welcome to Left Coast Live. It is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. I am your host, Deter McBusiness, joined as always by the one and only StatPat, stateless patriot of the Central Valley. We are California lefties coming at you with national politics coverage as well as some local California politics coverage. And today we are catching up because it's been a long time since I've been on my own stream.
Oh yeah.
Um, but now you sound good.
Yeah, I figured out the problem was I was adjusting the microphone on my own StreamYard and not yours.
Okay, there we go. Nice. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Nice. So we got it all figured out. Well, excellent.
Yes.
Well, it's a hot one on the West Coast.
Oh
For
God,
those
yeah.
of you that are from other parts of the country, I understand that the East Coast is getting slammed with some weather right now,
Yeah.
but it is hot as balls where I am in California, and it's confirmation that global warming is indeed real. Climate change is
Yeah, of
indeed
course.
caused by man-made activity,
Mhm.
and we're all the worse off before it.
Exactly.
Speaking of, so I don't know. What do you want to talk about today, man? There's a lot going on. There's a lot we can discuss. The typical Iran shit. It's just like never
Oh
gonna
yeah.
end. It's. I
Plenty
have
to
no
talk about there,
expectations
yeah.
there. It's the end of the World Cup. I was thrilled to see Spain beat racist Argentina.
Mhm.
We have Argentina has been exposed
Hmm.
this last 5 weeks. Like the social
Yeah.
media barrage that Argentina has taken for being just an explicitly racist country is
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's written into their constitution, dude.
No
And there's a
kidding.
song that they sing where it's like the Brazil about South American countries where they say the Brazilians came from the jungle, the Colombians came from this, the Peruvians came from the mountains, and the Argentinians came from boats. That's the song that kind of reveals their like, yeah, they prioritize white European
Yeah.
immigrants for the last 100 years or whatever it's been. I
Disgusting.
don't know.
Yeah. No wonder. I mean, the supremacism of the countries makes more and more and more sense now. That's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, it's no wonder Israel likes them so much. Yeah, and not to mention that like their leaders get along fabulously with the Trump administration as well.
Yeah, but we have a lot of good things to talk about. For example, like, I mean, a lot of what I think we do here is almost like a group therapy session where
Hmm.
we see what's going to happen if the country's going to improve. And right
Yeah,
now, things
yeah,
are getting a little bit better with certain election wins. There are signs of
yes,
hope. There are things to be optimistic about. So, the purpose of this YouTube channel, I feel like, is to kind of hedge everyone's expectations and make sure that they understand that it's going to take longer than we expect it to. But like the
yeah,
popularity of Israel and Zionism is only going to go south.
yes,
That's the only direction that Zionism is going. For the
yes.
rest of our lives, until Netanyahu's out of power, until they've paid reparations to Palestine, like probably for the rest of our lives, the brand of Zionism is going to be in the fucking trash bin.
Fully
Um,
agree.
and then the other thing is the establishment. I still don't see, and this is my frustration with a lot of these other lefty YouTube channels where they act as if people like Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker and even a guy like John Ossoff are progressive, and they're not.
Hmm.
They all are operating under this assumption that the free market is going to be the source of solutions for our society, and it's just not.
Yeah.
We still have so much growing up to do. I mean, every now and then,
Well,
what I've got to do, because my algorithm sends me, the algorithm will send you stuff that you're more likely to like than not.
yeah.
So I have to constantly go into like, you know, uh, I love Trump on YouTube or
Sure.
like for Iran war, like actively searching for counter arguments out there.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to me how sizable still the Zionism is in this country.
Oh,
Still,
big time.
even on the left, even on the
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that's, I mean, really funny about that is like, um, there. I mean, obviously the algorithms are suited to. like our uh interactions most of all. And so like I notice like the more I interact with like negative shit and like argue with idiots on the far right, the more that shit pops up in my feed and whatnot. And it's just like I try to curate it in a way that um doesn't basically like so that way I don't see it as much, because it's definitely a frustrating thing just getting in those loops and those cycles, because like a lot of these people, you're not going to change their minds. And not to mention, these are people that are really, I've noticed this a lot more lately. A lot of these people are actually just like not real. Like they're not actual real accounts. They're not actual people at
Yeah.
all.
Right.
A lot of them are actually like, because you'll even see it too. Like you'll like even on random pages that aren't even like posting anything political or like ornately political. You'll see accounts that are obviously like part of a bot farm for engagement, and they'll comment something that's super controversial or hyper nationalist, some just hugely bigoted kind of sort of thing, and get like a bunch of heart reacts or what have you. And it's obvious that these accounts only exist, and this is mostly on Facebook, but you see it on Instagram too, and like obviously all over fucking Twitter. Like Twitter is like the bastion for this shit. But with Meta's Facebook especially, you see that like these accounts only serve to drive up engagement and rage baiting people, and just uh, every single time it's in support of some far right politics,
Yep.
like either in this country or in other countries. Like if it's always in support of the far right. Of course, these major tech platforms don't do shit about it,
Right.
because I mean, what is it to them, I mean, back during the first Trump administration, it was more like a finger wag, like a crackdown, like um, extremism is spreading because of these algorithms that these social media platforms are allowing to fester, and
Right.
so they actually changed a few things. But once Trump got back in office again, they basically flipped course. They just reversed on fucking everything, and
Yep.
so that has allowed all these bots and engagement farms and whatnot to continue acting like real people and just spreading absolute total nonsense and bullshit in service of the far right.
So is there? I think there is a way to buy YouTube subscribers, right? Like you can
I
you.
wouldn't doubt it.
I
Yeah,
haven't. I've never looked into it, but I thought on. I
I've
thought I
been
saw on
interested.
Reddit. I thought I saw on Reddit a while back where you can like, yeah, you can like hire somebody to like create bot accounts and
hmm
follow you and to jack up your subscriber numbers.
I wouldn't doubt at all that that's how a lot of like major accounts and influencers have
Right.
gotten a lot of their following as well, because it's like, well,
Yeah.
who the fuck is this person? They got
Yeah.
what they get famous for? What do they have a following for? It's
I
just like
saw
I
someone
wouldn't doubt that at
I
all.
saw someone recently who's like not in the same space we are, but someone that started their channel May 25th and
hmm
already has 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
And I'm like, what the hell? Did you
no,
just.
right.
I mean, because I know you can
I mean,
buy advertising. You can buy
yes.
advertising, but I don't know if it works.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on the platform too, because I know on Facebook you can literally pay to boost your posts.
Right.
You can pay a certain amount of money for a post of yours
Right.
to get more exposure.
Exposure. Right.
Yeah, yeah, and therefore more engagement. And yeah, so it's basically like you're buying um, more more eyes on your content,
Right.
essentially. I'm not sure how it works on YouTube, obviously, but otherwise, like I definitely gonna move on that. But the thing is, like, I don't even like post actual videos or clips on this channel anymore. I just use this channel to to go live.
Stream, yeah.
Yeah, but I assume that is uh, there is an ability to do that with YouTube and the like our accounts on here basically.
Right. Yeah. Fire up the chat, guys. We'd love to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We usually cover the, you know, daily events. But today there is an essay that I'm working on that I just wanted to show a video clip of real quick because I don't think this guy gets enough shit.
Is this the Hutch guy?
Hold on, no.
No.
There's a reason why I came to a business school instead of a school of government. I actually believe that capitalism is the greatest force for prosperity and opportunity the world has ever known. And I believe in private enterprise, not government, but innovators and risk takers and makers and doers, driving job creation. But I also believe in a higher principle, which is we're all in this together.
Right. Okay. So
That's like
there
okay.
it is. We're all in this together. What does that fucking mean?
That's a confliction.
Right. It's a conflict. Right?
It's like literally definitionally a conflict of interest. Look no further than the like Vosh like is one channel one like major lefty like actual socialist who doesn't even he thinks democracy is dead essentially. And
Yeah,
the thing is capitalism is and always has been at odds with democracy.
Yes.
So you can't have it both ways because you were saying earlier how like all these Democrats still are so adamant in their belief in a free market and shit, but the free market it just leads to what we have now.
The
If
unregulated free market, yes.
Exactly. Especially
the
if it's
lesser
unregulated.
So the thing that he doesn't do. Oh, go ahead. You finish your thoughts.
Well, I mean, and so like all these smears against leftists who believe more so in like social democracy and democratic socialism, at least like heavy regulation on capitalism. It's like we're trying to save capitalism from itself, but not even people like Obama or his ilk can concede to that because
Right.
they can't come up with I mean it could be a whole number of things, but you're not going to convince the big money business interests that these democratic socialists or whatever are not to be feared because they want fundamental change because the system as it is fundamentally broken. It works as it's supposed to in service of the billionaire class.
Right.
And so
Right.
like with that and that's why you're not going to have like actual like principled lefties understand like capitalism has got to go. There is no future. If you believe in democracy, you can't believe in capitalism because the you can't you can't democratize prosperity. You can't democratize entrepreneurship. Or I mean business in general. I mean, you can if the system was actually built that way, but no, it's a shrinking and shrinking pool of the of ultra wealthy people that are all in the same club, like insider trading and whatnot, just enriching themselves at the expense of everyone else. That's how the system was always going to end up. Like if anyone actually like read Marx or understands like late stage and end stage capitalism, just consolidation. The more regulations are done away with. I can't believe like Obama of all people can't like understand that shit. He should.
Well, but you have to remember Obama was a boomer and he was a product of the Cold War, and he also just he went to the institutions. He went to Harvard Law, and he didn't go to government. He didn't go to a school of government. He went to law school.
Yeah,
different thing.
Exactly.
And he, I just when you look, I mean, Obama is the classic impetus for talking about the difference between liberal and progressive.
Hmm.
And Obama was a liberal, and he never claimed to be progressive, never.
No.
But for him to go to Northwestern, one of the two big schools in his hometown, Northwestern and University of Chicago, and he goes to the Kellogg School of Management instead of the Public Policy Institute at either U Chicago or Northwestern, because he thinks that capitalism is going to lead the way. And like you're saying, capitalism works for the advantage, the 10%, top 10% at best, top 1% realistically, right?
Yeah.
Government is supposed to serve the less advantaged. Government's supposed to serve the people that, can't really get on without help, right? It's like,
Yeah.
when in doubt, talk about healthcare. What's the point in having a society, is healthcare a right or a privilege? Of course it's a right.
Yeah.
Of course it's a goddamn right. What's the point in having a society if we're not going to take care of each other? Plus, take away the moral issue. It's bad business to have someone who can't function, who's not healthy. They don't contribute anything to society,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
So it's in everybody's best interest to have a healthy population. And one of the health issues that, I think a lot of the time too, you and I work together, it's just like thinking about stuff that no one else is talking about. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
you want to talk about health in America, it starts with obesity. Like you tell people that I think it's 45% of whites, 55% of blacks and Latinos, something like that, are obese, not overweight, obese.
Hmm.
I'm overweight, but
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
too.
obese. Yeah, when you get north of 30, it can be tough to not be overweight.
Right. Yeah.
But
No, I mean, it's. I
no
mean,
one talks about this shit, dude.
right. It's
And
really like.
no one's talking details.
Mhm.
Details and specifics are what I
Yeah.
encourage everyone to keep an eye out for whenever you hear about people who are either politicians themselves or people who are talking about politicians. Are they giving specific examples to make their point? Because a lot of this stuff, like, for example, I saw an article today on Instagram, and it was just a race baiting article. Not a race baiting, it was a rage baiting article
Hmm.
that said, "Does the DSA have a woman problem?" I'm like, oh my God, are you
Right.
fucking kidding
Yeah.
me?
It's like, are you kidding me? Like, I would even go so far as to say DSA is probably like majority women.
I don't know. It doesn't even matter because it's not an issue.
It doesn't. No. Of
It's
course.
not an
It's
issue.
a not. It's
That's the
not an
beautiful
issue.
thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I say the DSA is where identity politics go to die.
Yeah.
Right? It actually is. That's the beautiful thing about it. As someone who grew up in a conservative household, that was, the epitome of that culture of the illusion of meritocracy.
Yeah. It's very
Right?
intersectional. Yeah.
But in DSA, it actually is kind of a meritocracy,
yes.
where if you have the best ideas, with the caveat that there are some ideas that do get lost in the shuffle. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you can pitch, they're doing what I wanted them to do now with Emma Vigeland. They're
Mhm.
doing the sessions with Emma Vigeland on the labor unions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
The labor
Majority
force stuff.
report. Majority report really is like an indispensable outlet that is always putting out good content. And it's really nice that like whenever they do like live shows and like long form discussions, they do bring those kind of figures into to talk about this, that, and the other. It's great. It's really fantastic. Yeah, you were mentioning something earlier that I wanted to touch on, but a big thing about because you were talking about the obesity epidemic in America and whatnot, and like I do in some form or another, I do think Americans like really do have it really good, but it's like they
Not in our food. Not when it comes to our food.
exactly, yeah, like I don't even fucking consume high fructose corn syrup. Like
Good
if I
for
see
you.
that
I'm
or
a
like
sugar addict, dude.
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it's like so I have to stay away from that shit. It's like whenever I actually do consume sugar, it'll probably like be a little bit in my coffee or in my alcohol. Like that. That's the extent of it. Yeah, because like anytime I eat candy, it's just like, oh, I just broke another tooth. It's
Yeah.
fucked. Sodas too. Like shit. I'm glad I swore off sodas generally. But like it comes back to one of your tenets basically. Americans, I think broadly, especially like the worst among us, or I guess the more susceptible among us, to be more fair, would rather go with what's easy rather than what's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
The human behavior is guided more by what
Hmm.
is easy as opposed to what is right versus what is wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
People don't think in terms of right versus easy. They think in terms of right versus easy. Or sorry, right versus wrong. They think in terms of right versus easy.
Yeah.
And I was onto that before fucking uh, Harry Potter was. By the way, I used that in
Right.
my
Yeah.
essay, but I said that back in high school or in college. I
Yeah.
said that I
Yeah.
had that all the way back in 2005. I said that in a hot tub. I'll never forget with one of my smarter friends. I'll never forget. I was at a hot tub and we were all
Hmm.
talking about like how most people are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Most people are fucking idiots.
I mean, that was my biggest wake up call in high school in general is like just being surrounded by all these folks from all these elementary schools and nearby middle schools that are now all in this big old high school together. It's just like, why is everybody here so much dumber than I am?
Right.
Like generally speaking, like
Yeah.
and that's what kind of like got me. Like I felt like more like an outcast like than anything because it's like people's interests or ability to engage with me were just so baseline and banal and just not just not interesting or unique.
Well,
I guess
that's why. I
that's like
mean, one of the reasons why I'm like hesitant to run for office is I'm like, is this country even worth saving? I mean,
I mean, yeah, I God,
we've got
I
so much. You're up against so many people that just you and I, just being straight white guys, are gonna have a hard time with.
right.
And I mean, we're guilty until proven innocent on a lot of things, and yeah, you got 70 to 75 million people who are gonna want you
Hmm.
dead, and then you got 50 million that are probably like on board with with what you're saying, and then you got to convince another 25 to 50 to get on board, and that's what it takes to become president,
Yeah.
and to get on board with what you're selling.
Yeah, you need to be like
But this idea that
major
we've had like
talented.
I mean, I was thinking about it. We haven't had a good president in my lifetime or your lifetime.
Hmm.
I haven't
Yeah.
had a good president. Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Clinton, W.
Hmm.
Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. No, none of them were good. None of them.
No.
And it's generational. That's what. Again, here we are again with something that no one's really talking about is
Hmm.
generational resentment. The value of generational resentment. They were in charge
Hmm.
when these things happened. All these problems are 45 years old. These problems in our country did not just spring up when Trump got reelected.
Yeah.
Okay? They didn't just start 10 years ago when Trump got elected for the first time. They have
Yeah.
been ruminating. They have been
Yes.
in the oven for 45 fucking years.
Yeah, and he's just like exacerbated all of them. I mean, to get into the whole Iran thing, it's like it is like the single biggest blunder in like modern American history. It puts the Iraq War to shame. I mean, we haven't even put boots on the ground yet. I mean, knock on wood, but the diminishment of the U.S. military and our ability to force project our stance in the world, especially geopolitically, is just shattered. It's fucking shattered. Like
Right.
we can't even protect our own bases in the Middle
Yeah, because we got
East.
800 of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, like worldwide, but yeah, like we can't.
No, I know. I
Yeah,
mean, but yeah, because everyone fucking hates us.
exactly. Yeah, and like with the infrastructure damage over there, because we can't actually we just can't keep our fingers off the trigger or anything like that. Is now gotten to a point where um, like the Bab el Mandeb Strait is now pretty much closed. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. The only way that oil is actually getting anywhere out of the Middle East is through the Suez Canal, which is very narrow and shallow. And so, like, for those giant oil tankers to actually get anything out, and have to sail like all the way around the world, fucking around the entire continent of Africa, would take an extra 30 to 45 days, and they can't ship as much oil anymore
Right.
because it would weigh down the ships too much, and they get stuck in the Suez Canal, and all of a sudden you have the entire global like economy ground to a
Yeah.
halt. So they can only like carry like half of what they're able to regular like as they normally would. It's
Yeah.
just absolutely fucked. And meanwhile, Iran's making money hand over fist. Um, the U.S. is still running out of munitions and shit. It's just an absolute nightmare. And um, like I was saying earlier in previous streams, how we are in for the energy crisis of a lifetime,
Yep.
a huge energy shock, and that's still absolutely to come. Oil and gas prices are going to explode before the end of the year, for damn sure. And our strategic petroleum reserves are nearly empty.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. It's awesome, man. We're doing
It's all
great.
it's all because Trump, one, can never ever admit that he was wrong. His ego is way too fucking fragile for that shit. And two, all of this is just a cover for not being as transparent or forthright with the Epstein files.
Right.
You know, and not to mention, I mean, the third caveat is Israel really wanted this and basically dragged the U.S. into it. I mean, that's from the very beginning. It was essentially admitted that well, Israel was going to strike anyway, so we had to join them to protect our assets in the region. Basically,
Right.
like I think it was either Marco Rubio or Mike Johnson that admitted that. I think both of them even fucking said something along those lines. So it's just like, here we are.
Yeah.
Thanks, Israel. Thanks, Trump.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. I mean, it's all kind of, we're just holding our breath till the midterms. Now that I'm in my 40s, time moves a lot faster. So it's
Yeah.
like, the midterms are just a couple of pages away in the book to me. To
Yeah,
you,
no
it's a little
kidding.
bit longer, but,
I mean, shit. Yeah, I just turned 31 a couple weeks ago. And it's like,
oh, nice,
damn.
dude. Hey, man, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous, dude. You're going to be alive a lot longer than I
hmm
am. Um, So I don't know, man. It's like I part of the reason why I haven't been coming on is just it's the same old shit. It's just the same old shit, and the left is still like cannibalizing itself
Yeah.
with neoliberal establishment shit. And this guy Javier Becerra is coming. I saw Tallarico's having a tough time in Texas because Jasmine
Oh yeah.
Crockett won't campaign for him, and
Is she like essentially undermining him?
It's not really. No, she's not really actively undermining him,
hmm
but black voters in Texas are pissed, and they're pissed that their candidate lost, and they don't like the way that Jasmine Crockett was treated. To which I say, this is politics.
Yeah.
Toughen the fuck up. We are
Yeah.
at war. Suck it up.
Yeah.
Like we're at war. We're at war, guys.
Yes.
Like
Exactly.
seriously.
Yeah.
Like we're at war. I mean, if you can get everybody to agree on the contextual circumstance of it, we are at war, then all of the it's my turn and all that shit kind of goes by the wayside. Then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, how do
Right.
we defeat MAGA? Like you're
Exactly.
gonna let Paxton be the next senator from Texas? We have a chance at a Texas Senate seat, and
Yes.
we're gonna get caught up in this narcissism because
Yeah.
that's what it is. I mean, and I'm
hmm
sorry, like I know there aren't a whole lot of luminary black female politicians. We need more. But I'm just telling you, as an objective observer, Jasmine Crockett did not have the goods.
Right.
She did not quote data and statistics at her fingertips. She wasn't
No.
a great storyteller. She talked about herself a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and also, too, when you did even the slightest bit of digging on her and you looked at her money, she's in bed with crypto and APAC. So
Exactly. Yeah.
how am I supposed to take and then on just a personal note for you and me, she
Hmm.
comes into California and endorses Javier Becerra. And I'm supposed to like Jasmine Crockett?
Right.
I mean, come on, guys. So, and look, I don't really like Tellerico that much either, but he could go in there and be, a vote, right?
Yes.
He could
Exactly.
he
It'd
could
be
weaken the Republican Party.
it would be momentous for damn sure because it really like it shows um how much more blue Texas is than people are willing to admit.
Yes.
Because
Do you know what
I
Texas
mean,
have that Florida doesn't? I mean,
huh?
a lot, but do you know what Texas has that Florida doesn't? Why it's more blue than Florida? They have major academic institutions.
Yeah, I was about to say
The,
education. Yeah.
Texas actually has some pretty amazing schools,
Yeah.
and that means something. That matters.
Hmm.
And Florida has nothing. Florida has UF.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I think so. Recently, CNBC put out a recent. Yeah. No, this was actually really recent. This was a little over a week ago. Because you know how every now and then, I mean, it's not just CNBC, but like certain polling groups and survey groups or whatever will put out like the 10 worst states and the 10 best states to live in, whatnot. They actually put out a recent study regarding all that shit. And so, like, they have the 10 worst states to live in for 2026. And let's see here.
They're all
I think,
red.
I think, yes. Spoiler alert, they're all fucking deep red Republican states. And it's in no particular order here, but I think it's uh, from worst to like least worst. Arkansas is on the list, obviously. Oklahoma, and then Alabama, Missouri. Fucking. This is from 10. This is from 10 to 1,
This
and
from
then
CNBC.
Utah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Utah,
Oklahoma,
Georgia,
Missouri, Utah.
Louisiana.
Utah
Yeah,
is better. Utah is better than that. Yo, Utah has some amazing skiing.
yeah,
Louisiana is also can be near New Orleans. Louisiana is pretty sweet.
yeah. And
Wow, Texas
Indiana.
is on here.
Texas is the worst state to live in. Yeah, actually, no, that's the second
No,
worst.
Tennessee.
Ten- Tennessee is the worst state to live in. Like, yeah, like and comparatively, because the way they do it, they like do a quality of life score out of 290 points. In comparison, the 10th worst state to live in, Arkansas, they scored 103 out of 290 points. And compare that to Tennessee, and they only scored
Dude,
64 out of
dude,
290 points.
Texas, Texas is so ripe for the picking. These
Yes.
these red states, I think Texas and Tennessee are really ripe for the picking. Because if
Yeah.
things are that bad there, and the federal government comes in,
Right.
and it's like, yo, your state sucks at solving problems, so we're gonna solve the problems for you, because your state
Yeah.
government's incompetent, then you could flip those states.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That might be optimistic of me, but I also think that we can transcend a lot of the political norms by shifting racial resentment towards a generational resentment.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Um,
That's a running
yeah,
theme of mine.
yeah. I'm just like it's baffling as to how like because like I mean look at I mean Kyle Kalinske has said it like multiple times too. Like you, if you actually were to divide America between like the deep red states and the blue states, the like if they were on their own two countries essentially, the red states would fall the fuck apart. Like
Yeah,
it
they
would
would have
just
nothing.
deteriorate because they
Yeah, they're dead
are.
weight. They're
Yeah,
dead
they
weight.
are. They literally fucking are.
They're
Like,
dead weight. No, it's time to that's the other thing that's been helpful about this channel is me just getting confirmation that about how to talk about conservatives because I
yeah,
surprise people with how ruthless I am.
right.
But that's why part of me wants to run for office because I don't think I still have yet to see a political figure exhibit the kind of ruthlessness and incredulity that's
Yeah,
going to be required to defeat not just MAGA conservatism, all of conservatism, because resistance to change in a world that is defined by change is counterproductive to improving society generation to generation.
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
just basics. That's just
No, it really
basics.
is.
And you don't even need, that's not even political ideology. That is just history. That's just understanding how our world as it is today came to exist. But what percentage of people, what percentage of Americans do you think, adult Americans, do you think understand how our world like came to be? Like like how they understand the concept of the global village where airline travel and the internet made everything smaller and you could get to different places in shipping lanes, international shipping routes. All the complexity and sophistication required. What percentage of Americans do you think really understand that history?
I mean, probably like not even a tenth.
Yeah,
like
that's what
like
I was thinking. 10%.
yeah,
That's what I was
yeah,
thinking about 10%.
yeah. I mean, because especially given how like
Yeah, I don't know about
the,
Guantanamo, but MAGA is a terrorist organization for sure. Thank you, Anonymous.
yeah, MAGA definitely throw all them in Guantanamo for all I fucking care. Um, yeah, because like the Enlightenment, essentially, the founding of the country, that's where a lot of people don't know. Like that's where liberalism comes from.
Right.
Our founding fathers were essentially liberals. At least a couple of them. Like of course they're, I think Adam Smith and then Thomas Paine, I believe was another one of them. And that is just so foundationally fundamental to our country. It's like not even the liberals of today are even like stand by those principles. Like it's it's come so far because like you were saying in the beginning, how a lot of these milk toast centrist Democrats are so adamant about like getting back to the free market because like it's like, oh, I mean what's happening with capitalism right now is really bad, but we can bring it back to a really a sensible place. And it's just like, well, in order to do that, you need like massive regulation. You need a uh, an aggressive tax code, and you definitely need some redistribution of wealth, like to start to get like even remotely back on track. But it's it's just a fantasy, you know.
Right. Yeah, and another thing I think that a lot of socialists like something that Gen Z and millennials. I don't know if Gen Z is more like this, but I know millennials are.
Hmm.
We're we're not obsessed with getting rich.
No.
Like we want to be comfortable and to be able to go on a couple of trips every year,
Yeah.
but I don't need a yacht. I don't need a 50-foot, $100 million yacht.
Yeah.
Like I don't need a helicopter. I don't need a private chef. Even private chef would be nice,
Yeah.
but
No. Exactly. No. Exactly.
but I
It's
mean I don't need all the I don't need to be Elon Musk. And the Gen Z people though, the Gen Z folks, they might be a little bit delusional about how much money they're going to be making. But if you can
yeah.
get people to accept that, like, okay, first of all, the odds of me becoming a 1%er are exactly that, 1% or less. And then secondly, that is, do I even care about becoming a 1%er? And
Yeah.
when you get that blows people's minds, you kind of break through the barriers there with those questions, and then they're like, okay, instead of preserving the right for everyone to become a billionaire, instead of preserving the possibility of self enrichment, what's a bigger priority? Preserving that or making available the basics for everybody,
Yeah.
like healthcare, education, environment, housing.
Yeah.
These are basic things. These are
Exactly.
basic things.
Yeah. I mean, a big thing too is like Gen Z has fucking nothing. So like the idea that there's like any propaganda is going to sway them into thinking socialism is not the way, or uh, capitalism is actually good. They haven't seen that. They haven't been brought up to actually believe that because they don't have anything that actually shows that. I mean, the baby boomers did.
Right.
They were given fucking everything, like, actually.
Yes.
And like, it was easy, it was simple, it was the American dream. That's just non-existent today. So, is it any wonder why younger people are so um willing to accept socialism as an alternative economic system? Like, come on.
Well, they
It's
don't have
not
the
rocket science.
baggage. They don't have the baggage of the Cold War. They
Exactly.
didn't like. I mean,
They
my
weren't
earliest
heavily
news
propaganda.
memory,
Yeah,
and I think that's what that lingers in the Gen X generation with my older brothers and stuff. Where my earliest news memory was the fall of the Berlin Wall, which they probably remember fairly well. But they're both very capitalist,
yes,
and because it worked for them, they got out before the 2008 housing crisis. I graduated college in 2006.
hmm,
So I was working for a year, and then housing crisis fucked everything up,
right,
and
yeah,
that we're still recovering. I argue that the nation itself, and we can go on a fun little tangent here. Hopefully, our viewers like this, and I'm not going to stick around much longer because I can't. I have to do
sure,
short periods of this because it's just like I just don't
hmm,
like doing it. But I think that this country still hasn't recovered from the JFK assassination.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, for fuck's sake, you still see, like, if you're at, like, at the grocery store or whatever, there's still tabloids that bring it up. There's
Hmm.
still tabloids that fucking, like, uh give you, like, little crumbs about it, like new details. Like, that's been going on for fucking over 60 goddamn years now. It's
Yep.
I mean, personally, I think the reason for that is because the government was absolutely involved with it and has needed to like keep that gas lit. Just keep gaslighting Americans into believing the narrative, essentially.
Right. But I mean, at least at that point, you had a Democratic Party which was committed to the premise that government is good because people are good.
Hmm.
And the Reagan Revolution had not happened yet. So you still had the possibility of strengthening that relationship between government and citizen. And a lot of people don't know that JFK was trying to talk to Khrushchev to end the Cold War.
Hmm.
And he was also, there was something else. He was also talking to MLK through his brother Bobby.
Yeah.
Um, but that obviously all took, some more time with civil rights to get there with that. But at least they did get civil rights done in his lifetime, or in Bobby's lifetime. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I think it's just and it was a generation in charge then that they had a sense of duty, they had a sense of obligation, a sense of leaving the country better off than the way they found it, and
Yeah.
that's not something that the boomers took. So then you got to go into though. It's like, okay, well, who raised the boomers? Then it's like
Hmm.
greatest generation. So is it partly their fault too for not instilling those values into their kids?
Right. No, exactly.
And then we get into something that my friend Andrea Rosowski from this space has made me aware of, where she suggests that the nuclear family, as it was defined in the 1950s, was really a psychological precursor for fascism. It
Yeah.
socially conditioned us to accept fascist organization, not just
Hmm.
fascist governments, but fascist institutions, just the culture of fascism, to be
Hierarchy.
allowed. I mean, you look at patriarchy. Patriarchy is just fascism. It's just oriented
Hmm.
towards the man being in charge,
Yes. No,
right?
exactly. And that's literally fundamental to the United States as a whole. Like, the 50s were really, like, the period for mass social programming. That's essentially, like, eventually, like, people switched from radio to TV, and that's
Right.
like that was just like perfect. Like you can easily manipulate and mass brainwash an entire fucking population, like with uh, programming.
Yep.
Like yeah, I completely agree. It's just like, and that's with McCarthyism of the time too. It really was just like, oh, like we need, like the whole idea was we need like authoritarianism to rule. We can't have
Was the
any.
paranoia of the Soviet Union too? I mean,
Yeah,
those were the
that too.
days when foreign policy reigned supreme. I mean,
Yeah.
you had a president in Dick Nixon that literally did not give a fuck
Hmm.
about what
Yeah,
happened
but
in the country domestically. All he cared about
yeah,
was foreign relations.
yeah. But the thing is too, like around that time, at least like the government had a at least a modicum of responsibility, and essentially like a duty for
Yeah,
lack of a better term, because it's like there was competence for
right.
they understood like well, people should still have their basic needs taken care of, and like we actually believe in science, we celebrate science, because like I do want like everybody to take like uh, just understand that, like by omitting, like okay, so this whole lettuce thing, like with the cyclosporia, the outbreak and whatnot, this through the nuclear family, we'll have to check that
Can you
one
go
out
check
for
that
sure.
out? Yeah, thank you.
um when it comes to like this whole outbreak with cyclosporia, the explosive diarrhea thingamajig from like the lettuce that was like tainted or whatever,
Yeah.
like the mainstream media has never been more complicit in protecting corporate interests, and like you can, like there's no better example, because by omitting the source of the cyclosporia outbreak as being directly correlated with the Trump cuts and the Doge cuts, and like the deregulation under Trump, and the by like RFK under the HSS and whatnot, which include like obviously the testing of our water and all of our produce, and just basically gutting the agencies responsible for monitoring all like the spread of these diseases and shit, and assembling any sort of task force to actually handle an outbreak like this. Like the media is complicit. Like they're
Yes.
like by just not mentioning any of this at all, because they no longer criticize Trump in any meaningful way, shape, or form, even though this is 100% the fault of his administration. And so all of it is in service of capital and maximizing profit at your expense. Like fuck, like if you get sick, fuck you.
Right.
Like
Medical
as
bankruptcy.
long as the companies, like I'm almost certain like Taylor Farms is probably like bribing the government just to like fucking keep their gravy train rolling and shit. But like it's the same shit. Like this wouldn't have happened if there weren't like actual, if there weren't deregulations and like staffing cuts of these agencies, Doge cuts and funding cuts and shit. This wouldn't be happening. The same thing goes for the screwworm outbreak as well.
Hmm.
With cattle, and the rapid spread of like the Lone Star tick, the tick that apparently if you get bit by it, like it makes you allergic to red meat. And it's just like fucking, it turns out like the government actually does important work and is responsible for very important jobs. So it's like there's your fucking example right here. It couldn't be more clear. But like for the longest goddamn time, conservatives and Republicans have tried to sell you a bill of lies, fucking that like, oh, the government's actually really bad, really evil, and regulation gets in the way of uh, prosperity and all this fucking bullshit. Whereas it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these protections have been in place for a goddamn fucking reason.
Yeah, and I back to the Obama video really quick just to bring it full circle.
Yeah.
He talks about capitalism and private enterprise, and the word that he didn't use was entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even get specific because he doesn't know because he never worked in the private sector. That
Hmm.
entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs, like Bill Gates, like a lot of other people who have invented a lot of cool things, right? And a lot of useful things. And there will be more of those. That's great. When the nascent part of those businesses, when they're solving a problem for the American public and the American consumer, they deserve to be compensated for that. But when they
Hmm.
become their own conglomerate, that's a bridge too far. When you become Walmart and you're starting to
Yes.
destroy sectors, when you
Yes.
go on from competing on a city block, now you're competing for the entire state or the entire region, like Walmart does, then like, and again, here we are. Like, why does no one else talk about politics like this? It's so easy,
Yes.
especially with how prolific these corporations have become
Hmm.
over our lifetime. They were bad. It was bad when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
now it's even worse.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so much worse. Everything's more consolidated. There's not
yeah.
near. Look at telecom. Look at telecom. Telecom's got three major players, and everyone's getting ripped off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really simple too. It's like the mainstream media and their pundits broadly, generally, just across the board, go out of their way to omit these discussions because their bread gets buttered by advertising from
Yes.
these same exact corporations. They
Right.
are the ones that line their pockets. They are the ones that make sure that these media companies write those checks and keep the narrative flowing, or at least lack of a narrative. And here we are. It's as pervasive as it's ever been, and like even with like independent media, like, it's like a lot of people are trained on classic media and whatnot, and so a lot of these things just get lost in the details or just aren't. It just doesn't register.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything else you want to touch on?
Well, I figured we end off on a little amusing notes and
Sure.
basically um, talk about my jury duty experience.
Oh
So,
yes. Let's hear all about jury duty. Yes. That'll get us some subs.
so I um have you done jury duty before?
Not in a long time. Not in like 15, 20 years.
So, but you have had the experience, like
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
actually.
But when I was living back east, though, so it was
Okay,
pre 2010. Yeah.
okay. Well, what was the experience like for you?
It wasn't so bad. Massachusetts had a one trial, one day policy where you would,
Really?
yeah. So
So
you
it wouldn't
show up.
drag on
It
like
should be a maximum be of one day.
interesting. So like
Yeah.
you wouldn't like have a day for jury selection and then the trial will
Right.
begin. It
No,
goes
you
on
get
for a couple
selected and you
days.
do the trial that day, or you
That's
get
nuts.
or you get selected, you get to leave, then you'd come back and you'd
Hmm.
have a scheduled day that you were going to be a jury for a trial.
Right.
So it was actually
Okay.
It was actually pretty sensitive to people's schedules.
That's actually really cool because I mean shit. With my experience, it's just dragged. I mean, fortunately, so like I was set aside for the 7th to the 14th, but like obviously the weekend that weekend and Monday the 13th didn't count. So
Right.
that was the potential for how long the trial might have actually lasted. But it started when I actually got the summons back in May. But I sent in like a like an excuse or whatever like that. Whether it was like I'm not gonna make it. I'm going on vacation later on in the month. Like because in May I ended up taking that Vegas trip. And I think it was by the time I got back because I just like didn't pay it any mind. I was like whatever. I'm not going to attend. I think it was by the time I got back where I got like a letter saying, "Oh, your request for a dismissal or whatever to be excused was denied." It's like, well, shit. So I got a hold of them, and I told them what happened and everything, blah blah blah. They told me, okay, so July 7th is when you gotta come in and take care of whatever. So like, okay. So I figured I was just gonna go there and show up to just clear up those details basically, and then like actually see like when they're going to schedule me for actual jury duty. Turns out because I can show up in my work uniform, I take my work truck, just like fuck it. Like I'll let my branch know. I'll let my work know. Like, hey, I'm probably gonna be busy for the morning. Just try to clear this up. Like, so just keep everything on standby for the day. See if any technicians can take my work. Show up, and according to them, it's just like, oh yeah, no, you're actually here for jury duty. You're here for the real thing. And so I'm like, well, shit. I got a juror number, a badge, and everything. And there, it ended up being 124 of us that were there for jury duty. And this is like in the middle of a city of like 320,000 people, but the county itself is like, I don't know, like 500,000 people, fucking maybe a little bit more than that. Um, so I it ended up like getting reduced down because obviously they had the judge came out, explained everything. Like if you need to be excused or have reasons where you can't be here financially, like you need to pick up kids from school, whatever, go to the clerk and they'll figure it out, whatever. So it ended up just being reduced down to 30 people. And so we make our way to one of the courtrooms, and they randomly selected 14 people. I happen to be one of them. So after like they did a whole like basically like an interview process. Basically, the attorneys there as well as the judge going through and interviewing the jurors to see like how biased you'd be or like if you knew anything about the case or the defendant. Um, excuse me, as well as your occupation, or if you've been to jury duty before, and all that. And after a little bit of musical chairs and getting people out of there who would have like been pretty useless jurors, finally settled on 12 people plus two alternative jurors, and it was a DUI case, and yeah, first impressions were, well, I mean, it's pretty dumb. Like with something like that, it's there's not really much contesting, it, especially if there's body cam footage and you brew it. Like the defendant, she had blown into the breathalyzer twice, and one of them, the first one was .09, the second one was .08, and so at first it was like, I mean, this is that should be like pretty cut and dry. Like what is there to contest, you know?
Right.
But as time went on and the prosecutor brought forth evidence, brought forth a witness, which was like the CHP officer that did the arrest, as well as a forensics analyst, like expert from the DOJ, basically, who basically nailed like to a T, like what her BAC level would have been, because she had claimed she drank a couple White Claws, and the way she calculated it was like yeah, it makes sense that she blew that much in the breathalyzer. But the defense, they wanted to do basically like um, a test of the machine, like the breathalyzer, to see if it was calibrated right. And that's where it started to get interesting because it started to seem like for a minute that, because they got the summary of the log of the testing, like how off is it? Because if it was off by a certain amount, it could have been like, oh well, like it's actually um, overestimating her blood alcohol content. But it ended up being the case that actually it was undercounting it. So
Ah.
yeah, after all the evidence was reviewed and whatnot, and this was like this is like the first day. Um, I mean, it was a neat experience. Like we had an hour and a half lunch, and so there's this bar and restaurant across the street. So I would just go there over during lunch and like have a couple drinks and eat fine ass food. It was actually pretty good. But it just dragged. Like I remember, like almost falling asleep during the second part of the first day, the first trial. Like yeah, I mean, because the whole first day that was jury selection. So like the next couple days were the actual trial, but the last day, the defense actually pulled like a hail berry and got a guy from the University of the Pacific to come out and be like, well, yeah, I mean, I, he he seemed to know a little bit about alcohol and like people and like they and how people react with it and like how much you can drink and still be okay because ultimately the case was about buzzed driving and like impaired driving, not drunk driving. But yeah, after all that, they did their closing arguments, and go to lunch again, and fucking come back up. We figure out the whole jury deliberation thing, and the closing arguments, and the defense just did not have a good closing argument at all. It was just it just like it just fell on their face. It was
Please,
basically
please, please don't fuck us. Please
no,
give us the
exactly.
minimum sentence, right? That's what
Yeah, sentencing ended up happening a couple days later, but the charges were I forgot to mention this at the beginning. The charges were driving. First one was driving under the influence of alcohol, and the second one was driving under the influence of alcohol with a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or higher. And so ultimately, like, it was
That
pretty much undeniable that both of those ended up being like we were going to charge guilty,
convict.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So um, we head to the jury
Convicted.
deliberation. Yeah, because you can't talk about the case at all. Like, you can't talk. You
Right.
can't do any research on it. You can't talk amongst the other jurors. You can't tell friends or family. So when we finally get into that jury deliberation room and the bailiff leaves, we all finally get to sit there and chat about it. And like, but first we had to pick like a four-person, like a foreman or a forewoman for the jury. Sit there like awkwardly for a little bit. I'm like, so does anybody want to volunteer? And get like a few chuckles here and there, but no one really like sets forth. I'm
Yeah,
like,
everyone. It's a man. Yeah, countdown to
fuck it.
awkward. So
Yeah,
you stepped up and did it.
yeah, I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Oh my god. Good for
Literally,
you.
yeah, yeah. Like, I kind
Good
of
for
knew
you,
from the
man.
beginning that like I'd end up getting to that point anyway somehow. But like, I mean, like, I just took the opportunity, I suppose, and it literally only took 10 minutes for us to discuss everything, and
Yeah,
we
because
just
it's all about
basically
the
agreed.
evidence.
Yeah, it was cut and
In a
dry.
case like that, I think 90% of most like law
Uh
is
huh.
just evidence. It's just what does the evidence prove, and if it doesn't, and if there isn't a sufficient evidence to prove guilt,
Hmm.
then and if you got good defense lawyers, you got a good chance.
Yeah.
That's I think
So
how our system works.
so the funny thing is, because like we would all enter the room together between breaks and whatnot. So that included the defendant, this uh, white chick who's a couple years older than me, and her attorney, obviously the prosecutor, which was the district attorney. And so like everybody would come together, so everybody knew like what the defendant looked like, and we saw like the body cam footage of the evidence and whatnot. And before we went to jury deliberation, we took a quick break. So I decided, fuck it, I'll just run down to the restaurant across the street and just grab a beer. I got like 15 minutes. Fuck it, I can do it. And I shit you not, I see the defendant down there too. Like, just
Oh my god.
briefly as I'm leaving, and she saw me too. And so we get back up, and like we basically figure out, yeah, she's guilty, and I get the things ready with a guilty verdict for both counts, and head back in like literally not even 10 minutes, because the judge made it seem like we would we would have like all the following day, because this is Thursday, but we also have Friday and the following Tuesday to deliberate as well. But it was like, no, like we're done. So we had to wait for everybody to reconvene and assemble. So
Oh no.
they had to fetch the defendant and get the attorneys from their offices as well. So we had to wait a little bit, but went in, gave the judge the guilty verdicts. They read it aloud, and just sit there awkwardly, just trying not to make eye contact with the defendant or anything like that. Because like I did have some sympathy for the situation, like seeing the body cam footage, and because when they did the field sobriety test and whatnot, she seemed fine. But like I mean, it was just enough to the fucking CHP officer, I guess, to conduct the breathalyzer tests. And yeah, that's ultimately what happened. But like afterwards, I go back down to that restaurant again for just a beer. It's just like, damn, like I could have been at work this whole time, but whatever. It's whatever. And I shit you not, the defendant comes up
Oh
and
god.
asks like, "Hey, can I sit next to you?" I'm like, "Sure, go ahead." And then we just start chatting about the whole case. You start talking about the whole thing, and like one of the first things she asked was like, "So I just want to know, like, what was it that ultimately led you guys to um, the guilty verdicts?" And I was just basically like, I mean,
Yep.
the evidence was pretty much undeniable, and there's no other way. Like, if the charges were like slightly different, then like maybe there's wiggle room, but like no. But like I like some of us did have sympathy for you regarding the whole thing or whatever, blah blah blah. According to her, the public defender, because she was initially going to plead guilty. She was actually just gonna like avoid trial entirely until she talked to this fucking public defender dude, and he convinced her like, no, this you probably got a winning case here. Like you can take this to court and win it. Like it's only a point oh eight. You say it's like we like those machines, those breathalyzer machines. They're probably not even like proper.
Right, not even properly calibrated. Right.
Yeah, yeah, and so like he gave her this false hope basically like the whole time, whereas she was already just like I'm just gonna plead guilty and get a what's called a wet and reckless instead of a DUI, and now it just ended up being futile because now that she went through the whole ass trial
Now she's gonna
and
get
got
DUI.
convicted guilty on both counts, she got the DUI. Yeah,
She's gonna get her license suspended probably for like a year or something.
I don't believe so. Okay, so we're chatting up more, and she's like, you know what? I mean, I was gonna have a celebratory drink or like a drink whether or not I was going to be like guilty or not. So like, fuck it. Like, so we just sat there and just drank some more beers and just chatted about the whole experience, talked up a bit more, and
That's funny.
like I kid you not, because we were sitting there like maybe for like an hour, and asked what she was doing for the rest of the night, and she was like, "Probably gonna bar hop over to this hole in the wall on the other side of town," which I knew where it was. I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and because she was like, "Gonna play pool, whatever." I'm like, "Can I come play pool with you?" And shit you not, the foreman for the jury on a DUI case went and partied with the defendant.
No shit.
like we went to this hole in the wall bar and just like got some more drinks and whatnot and just partied it up. And like she's a regular there, so we got to tell the story over and over. So it's like, yeah, this is the guy that gave me the guilty verdict. It's like, yeah, this is the chick that gave a guilty
Convicted.
verdict to.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh my
like,
God.
yeah, it's a really neat experience. But according to her, she got her sentencing a couple days later, and I guess she had to do like 18 months of like DUI classes and whatnot. She can still drive, but she has to wear an ankle monitor, so it monitors like how much alcohol she drinks and whatnot. And it's just it was just quite a freaking crazy experience, dude. But with that, I don't have to go to jury duty again until 2028,
Nice.
and I even like because at the beginning I was like I could just get out of this. I could say, "Oh, I'm too busy with work," or "I can't afford it." But I was thinking to myself, I can afford to be here. Like I honestly actually can. So I might as well stay. But like I'm in a group chat with my branch, my coworkers, and they're like, you should just say something fucked up. You should just tell the judge that you believe this horrible thing and that horrible thing. They will let your
Yeah.
ass go in a second. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
usually, yeah.
yeah.
That's
I
the way
thought,
you get out of him. He's like, you tell him you don't believe in God or like you're an anarchist or something.
or like super racist, just such
Yeah,
shit like
just
that,
like yeah, exactly.
But I was like, no, I'm too honest of a fucking person, so I ended up just like going through with it and everything.
No, it's good. The
Um,
system needs more people like you and me as being jurors.
right? Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, especially given through what I went through and all that, and like what I learned, because it really was like, um, it was like witnessing a play and like a class at the same time. Because like I learned a shitload of things about how the CHP does his job, how field sobriety tests work, and what alcohol does to your body, and like how much alcohol does what, and just a whole slew of things. Not to mention the way that the attorneys interacted with the judge. It's just a lot of it reminded me of like the various like TV shows or movies that like have like settings in courtrooms and like legal battles and shit. It was really really interesting. But I did a little research and like I was wondering, well, am I getting paid for this? Am I getting paid for jury duty? And I I thought it said, because the thing on the AI summary said, yeah, jurors actually get paid $15 an hour plus the mileage to drive. No, it turns out it's only $15 a day, and
Oh no.
that's only after the first day of the trial too. Just like fuck. So I got to work extra to make up for it. But I mean, it didn't hurt me too much. Plus, I made friends with a chick that I gave a
The
guilty verdict
defendant.
to. So
Jesus.
yeah, just absolutely nuts. Really, really neat experience. But that was jury duty for me.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah,
Well, that was a hell of a story.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad you told it. I didn't realize that it was such a an eventful journey. I knew you were the. I knew you. Well, you told me you were the foreman, but I didn't realize you had like this
Oh
whole
yeah.
fucking story with this
I
defendant. That's
I
hilarious.
couldn't I couldn't wait to tell either. Like I've only told it to a couple other people so far, but that was like yeah, that was the gist of it, and it was a fun night. I ended like partying harder than I'm even used to as well. We played a bunch of pool, had the jukebox going, like had the touch tones thing on my app and whatnot. Just kept on feeding money into it. Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
Really unique experience, and yeah, I really needed it given how fucked up my week before that was. But yeah, good time.
Right on, man. Well, I think that's a good note to end it on. Um,
Yeah, I
for
agree.
those of you who are not subscribed, thank you for please subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please
Hmm.
subscribe to Stat Pat's channel, Stateless Patriot. And I guess we'll see you guys again. I'll be on this space tomorrow at my usual time of 4 o'clock Pacific,
There you go.
7 p.m. Eastern. And until next time, we're just going to
Mhm.
remind you that you don't get change in America by asking nicely.
Everybody have a good night. See you next week.